Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe Love. Here's another edition of Sports Overview of Topics. This year, episode 152. Just finished watching the Lakers get swept in the Western Conference Finals by the Denver Nuggets. Dang, what a performance, for the Denver Nuggets. And I mean, gotta give respect, all around to LeBron, AD, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, etc. But yeah, the Lakers season has come to a close. This close to the final. This close. Or I would say more like this close to the finals. But they did what they could do off a 31-point first half by LeBron. But Jokic and the Warriors, Aaron Gordon had a hell of a game. Yeah. I'll touch up on more of that stuff along with talking about the Heat and Celtics series, but I want to chime in about some football stuff before. First, so prayers are out to the family of now late great Jim Brown. Jim Brown, a legend in Cleveland and football. Just what he did for stars for the sport. I mean, only 9 seasons. 2 of them, well, 7 of his 2,000-yard seasons. He had, or 7 of his 9, I should say, were 1,000-yard seasons. 2 of them, you could have made the case should have been, but nonetheless, was the MVP 3 times, and, for his and many others' sake, he retired too soon, based on his rate, 9 seasons, but did well enough to be regarded as one of the greats, one of the best to ever do it. I mean, there was a reason why he was the first to be unveiled as far as players on the NFL Top 100 a couple of years ago. Just the impact playing 9 seasons and yards per carry. I tell you, people regard yards per carry, and they should, for a variety of reasons. Just because based on facts or based on percentages, you get to give this guy the ball, you're going to get a good amount of gain on the carry. I believe I saw it. I just want to take a look. Don't want to mess this up, but yeah, his career high for yards per carry or was 6.4 yards. So I mean, pretty much, and that was in 1963. So pretty much, you give this guy the ball twice, he's gonna make a first down. And that was obviously with stricter rules, the equipment and all of that not being as uh, designed as well as it previously was. But I mean, geez. And that year he also had over 1,800 yards total. That was his only 2,000-yard season from scrimmage. I mean, just hell of a job. 2 seasons. He had 17 touchdowns. I mean, just hell of a career from Jim Brown. Also, what he did in his attempt to help for civil rights, it went both ways during his career, both playing and doing what he could do from a other perspective. I mean, just great job all around. Great presence. Just overall great man for the sport and the community, and he will not be forgotten, certainly. But yeah, I'm gonna miss him making calls during the draft. Hearing him announce the picks for the Cleveland Browns, certainly that. So, yeah. Rest in peace, Jim Brown. Next up, so the NFL schedule, was released a couple weeks ago, and I figured why not? Because looking at the grid of almost 300 games, and I have filled them out. Sorry for my handwriting, but you can kind of see some of the records and stuff. But yeah, I went through and gave my predictions for all the games, week 1 through 17, or 18. And yeah, I tell you, based on my predictions, few takeaways before I get into the standings. The AFC North, I'm sure many will be in agreement, will probably be the toughest division in the league next year. With Lamar Jackson being 100% back with the Ravens, provided OBJ stays healthy. I mean, they drafted Zay Flowers, obviously Rashad Bateman, if he can stay healthy with Mark Andrews, they can be threat, certainly. With the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. Uh, but I have them going over 500, shockingly. Uh, but back to the North. I expect the Steelers to make a bump. Um, Deshaun Watson, the Browns to be better. Uh, Based on that trade as well with the Vikings for Zadarius Smith. Uh, but yeah, not too many surprises uh, in my settings per se. I mean, uh, but yeah, let's go through it. So, AFCs for starters are actually be a little unconventional. Let's start with the NFC. So, the runner-up. Let's start with the runner-up and the AFCs. So, Philadelphia Eagles. I have them finishing up at 12 and 5. 12 and 5. I think is manageable for the Eagles. A little bit of drop back, but still better team. Next up, so I did make at first glance I wasn't sure about the Giants and the Cowboys, so I made a couple changes, but nonetheless, I had the Cowboys right behind at 10 and 7. Giants finish admirably, but they do take a step back, going 8 and 9 on the season. Provide Saquon is back. Uh, Quick note about the Cowboys. Um, Brandon Cooks trade, I do think will benefit them as well as Stephon Gilmore. Hence why they will continue to ride over 500. The Commanders, I do like their talent on offense and on the defensive line, but I'm not quite sure about Sam Howell. So, for that aspect, I had them finishing 2 and 15. Next up, the NFC North. Believe it or not, I have that as a much tighter division, if you can imagine. But I have the Lions, yes, winning the NFC North at 10-7. I have the Vikings and the Bears not far behind with 8 and 9, and the Packers round out with 6 and 11. Detroit obviously starts off kind of tough, with their first two games against the Chiefs and the Seahawks. But, all throughout the season, they have some quite winnable games, against the Falcons, Packers, twice, Panthers, Buccaneers. Etc. It was tough. I was Same for the Bears. You know, uh, they have some winnable games on their schedule, but you know, ultimately being, look, the Zadarius Smith trade, really quick, left me a bit lost for the Vikings. Because now their defense just got more questions than answers, obviously. Now, Brian Flores will obviously um, orchestrate his system on defense, but again, I'm just not too sure on defense. I think Detroit, with their draft and their grittiness all throughout the team, along with their schedule, I think they'll get the job done. Excuse me. NFC South. To me, there was buzz because I like the Falcons' schedule. There's reason as to why there's a little bit of buzz, just a buzz with the Falcons. Because when you look at their schedule, I mean, it's like, Carolina twice, they got Washington, Tampa twice. I mean, honestly, this division is wild card. But, I mean, Indy, Chicago, got some decent games on the schedule. I mean, with their offense, I mean, sure, we still got questions about Desmond Ritter, but adding Bijan Robinson to an offense with Cordero Patterson and Drake London, Kyle Pitts, I mean, they're certainly going to make some noise this season. Their defense, I have some questions about, but ultimately, I went with the Saints, though, winning the division at 10-7. Falcons not too far behind at 7-10. Um, Buccaneers, you know, they're going to be strange, I'd say, this season. With Baker or Trask at quarterback. And Carolina Panthers, 3-14. I mean, they gave up their top receiver, DJ Moore. I mean, yes, they acquired some good guys like Thielen and Hurst, etc. But it's going to be a bit of a building process with the Panthers, I think. Although I do like, J.C. Horn and Brian Burns on defense, certainly. And Derek Brown going down for picking up his option, certainly. NFC West, I had a bit of dogfight, but I'm going with the 49ers at 10-7. Brock Purdy might not be ready for the start of the season. And you look at some of the games this season it could be dicey, but yeah, some of them win the division. Rams bounce back and win in 9-8. Seahawks had another solid season, and they are 9-8 as well. While the Cardinals and their roster finishes 2-15. We don't know when or if Kyler will be back during the season. So, yeah, that's certainly a weird ordeal with that team. So then, based on my predictions, start. The playoff teams would be as follows: the Eagles, the Lions, the Saints, 49ers, the Cowboys, the Rams, and Seahawks. Because again, the 7 teams, sure they tied both at 9-8, but yeah. I just think with some of the moves in the draft, I think some of the games they tripped up on last year with the Rams, I think. I'm not saying they're going to win like 12, 13 games, so I think they'll win a few close ones to narrow out to 9-8. Now we get to the AFC. So I have the Bills at 13-4 winning the East. I have the Jets at 10-7. I have the Dolphins at 9-8. And surprise, surprise, I have the Patriots finishing last place at 7-10. For me, the Jets finished 7-10 last year with vulgar quarterback play. You have to think they're going to be somewhat better on offense. And also that Brees Hall, dynamic running back, got hurt in the middle of the year. So him back, Elijah Vera Tucker back, Will McDonald, he signed, to help Jermaine Johnson, Quinn Williams on the defense, credit to him. Yeah, the Dolphins were a wild card to me, simply. Their pass rush is certainly going to be, and their offense line in the trenches, I worry about a little bit. That's the only thing. I mean, their offense, their weapons are built to light up scoreboards, as well as their star-studded secondary, but I do think Jalen Phillips will do better in next year in this system, but You know, I do have questions about their trenches. AFC North. I said there would be the toughest division, I think, once you read or hear these standings. Or better yet, I'll just show see what you think. Okay, so I have the Bengals winning at 12-5. Ravens right behind at 11-6. Steelers 10-7. Browns 9-8. So there you go. There you go. And then the bottom half. So South, you know, after doing this last year, I mean, it does look a bit strange, because look, obviously I was wrong about the Dolphins a bit last year, and then the Patriots. I was semi right about them. Um, Bengals won the division. You got that. Or I think I picked the Browns either way. But anyways, for the South, Jaguars 11-6. You know, Trevor Lawrence takes the next step. I think that's the big mindset. Tennessee Titans, bit of a surprise for me. But at the same time, that team still has a lot of good pieces on it. And their schedule, I think. Now, I did have them start 0-4. And in turn, they won 9 of their last 14. You know, looking at their schedule, it's pretty manageable. Whether it's Ryan Tannehill or Will Levis. But yeah, it was. When I was going through that schedule, I did not expect to see 9 wins. Texans, you know, finished more admirably. Um, they get 6 wins. I had them either at 6 or 7, but I went with 6 on the schedule. Um, yeah, I think CJ Stroud, Will Anderson will obviously do good things for that team. Having John Mechie back will also help, so there's that. And some of the receivers they drafted will be good as well. Their offensive line should be better. The Colts, I them start ugly, but run up to 4-13. You know, I just think it's gonna be tough for them as I look through some of the matchups. Realistically, they could win a good chunk, but you know, they got the Bengals, they got the Steelers. I mean, the Ravens, the Browns, and the Saints. They got some crucial games on that schedule. So yeah. And then the West. Yes, it looks a lot different than last year for those. Obviously, I had the Chiefs and the Raiders swapped. because I had, well, the Raiders winning the division last year. Obviously, that was crap on me, but I had the defending champion Chiefs ultimately having the best record at 14-3. Chargers a little behind, but not too much at 11-6. The Raiders and Broncos at 8-9. Um, so there's there. So based on these standings, you could say, and the playoff teams would follow as the Bills. Yeah, the Bills, Bengals, Jaguars, Chiefs, Ravens, Chargers, and then a tie with the Jets and the Steelers, which would be, oh, no, they don't play on the schedule. I was like, oh, dang. But yeah, either way, yeah, get the gist. But, you know, I mean, I like these settings. I mean, 12-5 or 13-4, I thought was right for the Eagles when looking at the schedule. But yeah, pretty much not too many surprises I found on the schedule. I mean, yeah. So there you go. Agree, disagree. Those are my early predictions for you guys. So now let's talk about, okay. First, talk about the Western side because I just saw the Lakers get swept by the Denver Nuggets. First I'll say about the Nuggets and I'll chime in about the Lakers, you know, and what perhaps the next step should be. You know, Nuggets best record in the West. You know, obviously they looked like they were going to run away with it, and then they struggled for a few games. It looked like maybe Memphis or Sacramento may catch them, but they held on to the lead. Um, you know, they did their job against Minnesota. Um, credit to them. Uh, who was the 8th seed after losing to the Lakers in the play-in, but bounced the Lakers or Timberwolves in 5. You know, then ay ay ay. Trounced the Timberwolves and then Next series, they did their job certainly. Versus, hey, so but yeah, credit to the Nuggets. You know, I will say, I mean, I did. Well, I did say that I thought the Lakers were one of the teams that would have given the Nuggets their worst trouble. Just based on how they played. You know, credit to Nuggets. They beat the Timberwolves and they beat the Suns. I don't know why I kept playing on the Suns, but yeah. They beat the Suns. You know, it sucks that wasn't the conference final, but yeah, they did their diligence for Phoenix, KD, and Devin Booker, and they got done for LeBron and AD and a young supporting cast in the Lakers. And now, on the reel of the news of Carmelo Anthony finally calling it quits, the Nuggets make the first finals in franchise history. Credit to Nuggets, I mean, they are a very well orchestrated team. I mean, you got Jokic, you got Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter, Jamal Murray, Bruce Brown, Christian Braun, as Charles Barkley would say, or Brown, whichever you want to say. Um, you know, Jeff Green, who's very solid. DeAndre Jordan, who needs to be there at times, but yeah, they got a solid, well-balanced team, and really credit to them. I mean, obviously, I've been close for a few years. I mean, they overcame 2-3-1 deficits in the bubble and lost in the conference finals to the Lakers. Now they got their revenge. I mean, getting close, losing the semis to Trailblazers and Damian Lillard. I mean, last year, 1-1 versus the Warriors, the eventual champion Warriors. But yeah, just credit to Nuggets, credit to Nuggets. Now they're healthy, and now they're going to play a game, presumably Miami Heat team. As for Los Angeles Lakers, it obviously looked ugly from the start for the season. And it looked like, it seemed like it was going to be another mess. LeBron did what he can, but yeah. And then AD, his inconsistency, I mean, had problems with Russell Westbrook, Then the trade came. And then you see it's like D'Angelo Russell came. They got Jared Vanderbilt from the Timberwolves. That was blessed as well. Malik Beasley, he looked well at times. Also adding Rui Hachimura, he was a very solid pickup down the stretch. Austin Reeves, his development certainly solid. Their their moves really propelled them to the spot they were at because they were trending to possibly just a playing team, if that. But you kept seeing their name and you're like, okay, they have a chance. They have a chance. Then they found their way to the 7th seed. They beat the Timberwolves in the play-in in overtime. Then they took on the young upstart Memphis Grizzlies, took them out, and then they faced the reigning champion Golden State Warriors, took them out at 6 in LA, and they certainly did wonders with their run. But unfortunately for them, they went to a buzzsaw known as the Denver Nuggets, and just they made it close. It was a 2-point game at the end of the fourth, and LeBron just missed the game-tying shot to send it to overtime. Credit to the Nuggets. But here's the thing. It's difficult, but if I was the Nuggets, or excuse me, the Lakers, if I was the Lakers GM, Rob Pelinka, I think, okay, you gotta sign Rui Hachimura. You gotta sign Austin Reeves. LeBron, you have to see about him. I mean, yes, he is LeBron anymore, but he can still contribute and still give you double digits a night. I mean, it's not like he's fallen off too much of a cliff. I mean, he did give 40 this game. Obviously, 31 point first half, 9 point. He had the gist, but at the end of the day, LeBron can still give you double digits. But is he willing to take a lesser of a role? I think that's the thing. So there's that. Uh, cut D'Angelo Russell. I mean, I don't know what to say. Just cut D'Angelo Russell. He has been sorely disappointing. Then, Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis had a great stretch at the end of the regular season, which helped propel. You can't talk enough about the Lakers and not mention Anthony Davis, what he was able to do at the end of regular season. I mean, sometimes getting 40, sometimes getting 30, like 36, 38. And he was mostly healthy down the stretch. But there too much of a period, too much inconsistency. So in my mind, I would like to trade him. If there was a very good trade out there for Anthony Davis, then I would take it. But play your cards close to the vest. I think that's what it comes down to. But yeah, credit to the Lakers. They had a good season. They had a really good season. Um, Certainly turned the ship around when it looked ugly. Brooks Koepka won his third PGA Championship. Credit to him after that gut-wrenching defeat versus John Rahm weeks ago. Now he gets back and wins his third PGA Championship. So credit to him. Credit to him. Now I got to talk about the other two teams in the East. Miami Heat, Boston Celtics. Game 4 tomorrow night or tonight, depending on when this goes out. But, Miami Heat are 3-0. And it's going to be in Miami again. Many say it best. Celtics look like they quit. The Lakers showed a lot more fight in Game 3 and Game 4. Now, credit was on their home court, but, these are must-win scenarios. And yes, I know no team in playoff history, NBA playoff history, has come back from 3-0. But for pride, to somehow get back to Boston, because then getting back to the Garden, you have something on your side. For pride. What Celtics team, what Celtics team is going to show up tomorrow? The team that looked like they quit last night. Or, because, they said it looked like Missoula lost the team. That Missoula said agreed that there's a disconnect, that he didn't have his guys ready. I don't know, but I'll just say whoever the Nuggets face in the finals, but for all intents and purposes, the Heat, it's going to be a fascinating matchup. But yeah, gotta give credit to. But anyways, guys, that's what I have for the podcast today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, click that like, leave a thumbs up, or like, thumbs up, subscribe somewhere, but notification bell, etc. But thank you guys all for joining me for this episode. Be back next week. Be safe, guys. Have a good week. Adios. Peace.